Hey guys and gals, welcome to another project. Here we have the Hogwarts Castle and Grounds by Lego Harry Potter. This is set number 76419, contains 2,660 bricks, retails for $169.99, and the set was provided by the Lego Group for early review. And yeah, got bag one over here. Got a nice black 16 by 16 stud base plate. We got two manuals, so we're ready to start here. And this, despite of having a lot of pieces, is actually small stuff. So I'll be belly aching through this one here. Okay, that's manual 2. We're interested in manual 1. And before we start, yes, I do sound whiny. I do sound stuffed up because my allergies have flared up today. We've had a nasty windstorm, so I'm going to have to add that into my disclaimer, so I don't have to read that off every time. I just want to get into the build. And yeah, so all right, Hogwarts, a very brief history. And you can read that if you choose. And the Architect of Hogwartz. And yes, he is included as well. You only get one figure and he's all gold. And possibly I think that's the designer of the build. Miniature scale, maximum level of detail. Well, I can tell you right now, it does have that. Let me see here. Chin Chang Lego Senior Design here. Ah, okay. We'll see how well you did here. Yes, there's actually designers. I wish kids were allowed to design sets. That's possibly what it's going to look like. And yeah, it's like one of those little micro builds of Minecraft, just bigger. A tour of your school. And that's where the fun ends there. And that's where the building begins. So there are 22 bags. There's 11 groups in each building guide, and I think I'm going to do this in 6 installments. It'd be a little easier. I think we're going to try to do bags 1 through 4. Next installment we'll do bags 5, 6, and 7, then we'll do 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. And yeah, that's it. And we start. We probably won't need this for a while. So let's begin with bag 1. And yes, it's a lot easier doing it this way. So I'm going to save the larger sets with this method here. And we'll do it like that. Now, I just got done the other night reviewing the big giant castle. Or the big base. I don't know how that review is going to turn out. It might just turn out like a mess. I've been trying that new lighting stuff, and I'm never going to use 2 camera types again. I need to figure out how I'm going to set all that up, but that was a mess. It wasn't really a friendly thing to film, and yeah. And I will have to clean up my act and get that working. So, we always got to start with a cornerstone, right? For any build. Or a corner brick. So, I am going to forewarn you that this is going to be a lot of plates, lots of little 1x1s. Hoping we can get it done. I'm going to shoot for 4 bags, so it's about 120 bricks per bag. And yeah, lots of little pieces on that. It's just when it says micro scaled, yeah, I mean, and building sets like this though are pretty good in terms of learning how to do the micro scaled builds, because a lot of us wanted to to kind of get into that. And yeah, I remember I was looking for these in a tutorial. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not. I'm getting more of those. So, looking for some jumper plates here. And I'm not by any means a big fan of micro builds, but building that big giant bank thing, I'll tell you, and that thing was not easy to do because it stands up tall, and I had things falling off of it, which is usually how it is when you do reviews. And I thought, oh, this thing should go fairly easy. I did the minifigures and all that stuff, and I thought, oh, this isn't too bad. Till I got to the initial review, and I thought, oh no. Ooh, these come in, oh, that's dark orange. I thought that was medium nougat. But I thought, well, if it comes out not so well, I'll have to think of some of the strategy. So what I'm going to do is use the reviews as guinea pigs for learning how to do better lighting and stuff. So I'll probably have somebody who complains about it, whatever, you know, and then be like, well, would you want me to do that on my tutorials and mocks? You know, I got the floodlight for the interior stuff. And speaking of that light, it's not meant to run at 100% brightness for too long because the thing was overheating. You know, you get what you paid for, right? I found a head and it's printed. So, like right now, I don't need the floodlight because we're here. This model's about only 14 inches wide or depth. I don't know what it was. 14 inches wide. Oh, you get one of these in gray. Oh, it's a wig. 14 inches wide by, I think, 8.5 inches tall. That will fit perfectly on this little workbench. It will not take too much space. So hopefully, we're gonna I'll have to figure out how to do it. I thought I had that camera all set up. I found out how to use the autofocus button on it. Had it all this time, and I'm still learning how to use it. So I'm doing that. And the thing about using the professional camera is I didn't have to have this one. I'd have to have about 10 feet away. The other one I didn't have to do that. So I'm just going to have to learn how to do it, you know, learn how to use the thing, and that's what it is. Wait a minute, that doesn't go there. And I'm just, yeah, I don't know what I'm saying half the time. So I got done with a big nasty wad of work, and I'm happy that it's done and all that stuff. Now I can relax. But now I got to get done with this stuff. And I got to take a look at the building guide for the Michael Myers house. I'm starting to get requests for it. I'm thinking, man, I got to have that done because I want to get it out of the way. I want to preserve the idea and rebuild that in the future. And I cannot do that if I am just kind of sitting around not doing anything. And that is what it is. And one thing I forgot to turn on is the computer in here. Yeah, I'll do that here in a second. Oh, yeah, that's, they do what I do. They just use studs to fill in. I've been using studs for a long time to fill in. If I'm not going to see it, I'll fill it in. And we got ourselves a snake head. And, you know, a snake. What do you have snakes on the beach for? It's supposed to be eels or something. I don't know. Oh, that didn't stay on very well. Or did I just not push it down in all the way? But I've been trying to get more builds done and stuff like that, and old beard. And kind of got to thinking more and more, you know, I may need to try another platform. I've heard some people using TikTok, but TikTok has very short bursts of videos. I don't think there's long form, and everything is vertical. And the bad thing about using the vertical method is that a lot of my builds, excuse me, are horizontals. I don't really do vertical builds. I have a fan of mine. Call him, I can't remember, it's something J. And he's going to, he thought YouTube would take off. And here's the deal, don't ever think like that. But two, you got to beat the algorithm. YouTube says it doesn't exist, but we all know it does. And just like with me, I'm getting swamped with build requests, but they're all in building guide form. So you have to find your niche. YouTube is just kind of what it is today. You're always going to be in an uphill battle, especially for the professional YouTubers who will flood out videos. And he does Minecraft stuff. And so did I at one time. I used to do a lot of Minecraft videos just for fun. And the channel just died. So I just abandoned it. I didn't even bother with it. And I thought, I've had a lot of people say, oh, this is boring. You're doing the same old things. And I'm thinking I'm just having fun. I thought, well, I'm going to focus more on the Lego stuff and abandon the Minecraft channel. And that's exactly what I did. And yeah, that's kind of a sad thing. But also depends on the audience too. Sometimes the audience wants you to do a lot more than what you're capable of. It's like that in the Lego stuff too. Rubber parts on rubber parts. I don't know what this is. Seaweed or something? I think it goes there. Yeah, that's exactly where it goes. Probably some plant overgrowth. And yeah, it's pretty much how it is now. Is some guys are just like, I'm not going to mess with it anymore. I'm just going to go somewhere else. And we already saw what happened to Twitter. A lot of us, you know, we were kind of expecting Twitter to die on its own, you know, where people just kind of stop losing interest in. No, you have one of the richest men in the world buying it and destroy it. Now you can't even block people on Twitter. I don't feel kind of safe using it anymore, so I've just kind of abandoned that one too. It's still there. Let me make sure here. And okay, it goes right here, but we have a hole here in the back. Maybe that's how it's supposed to be. Maybe a little bit of rock undercutting from the ocean. But the richest man in the world could have made that site really good. And if you don't, it's like me trying to start up a social media site. Like I have a video chat conferencing app that I written up. And it was from another site that had closed, and I thought, well, I'm going to write my own up. So I did. And I did not want the headaches associated with this. I thought about it one time, I'm going to open one up until I got the reality, the sticker shock. It was going to be about $80,000 a month to run. And I thought, oh no, That software stayed in the archives. I sold a few copies of it though, but that was it. And I don't want any part of that at all. And is there a hole in there? Hard to tell. So I just said, no, that's not for me. And it shows something there. Well, let me take that off. I'm just trying to figure out what I did here. Almost like I forgot a page, but I didn't. It shows something here. All right, I'm confused. We're going to have to back up here. This part is right, but it shows... Oh. Is it going to be one of those days again, folks, where if you skip one page, you are SOL'd? That's correct. I have that there. And it's kind of a sad thing now that there's a 2x2 here. Or does it go there? It looks like it goes here. Okay, there is a stud that goes back into here. Yeah, be very careful with this, because now I'm making mistakes. But the whole social media gig, I do not want to get into it, get involved with it. It's a mess. You will be dealing with drama. It's not what you think. And I think this tooth's supposed to go the other way, but I'm not going to reach in here and try to deal with it. I mean, who watches the reviews anyways? Except for you guys on here who watch the builds. But I thought, oh no, I'm not going to get into Twitter. That's because I've been approached. Why don't I write up my own Twitter apps? I said I could do that, but I'm not gonna be the CEO and be the boss. Oh, Jay, but you can do it. I'm like, I can do it. I'm just not going to. You know, that's just a whole can of worms there. And okay, there's a piece that fits in there. First I got to find it, and you got to do this here. It's got a lot of bright colors in here. I think this bright color is just meant for markers, like filler pieces, to make the build not just bland and gray. I think that's what Lego's intent here is. But I just won't get into it, you know. I'm not going to get into the social media stuff like that. I'll use it, but I won't write my own up. It's like video streaming. That right there is a nightmare in itself. But I do not want to... Oh, wait a minute. It shows these here. All right, let me pop these off here. Did I put those in the wrong place? Yeah, I did. They were supposed to go back here. All right. And it's just, you don't want to get into that unless you really are diehard into it, but I just cannot get into it here. Well, I wish I was at that little beach over there right now. Yeah, but that's this thing now. It shows you, it gives you a 1-to-1 here on the book. And yeah, so far I hope they keep doing that, because that'll make it easy for me. All right. And we got something to read here. The devil's snare keeps intruders from reaching the secret hiding place of the Philosopher's Stone It thrives in dampness and darkness. If you get stuck, stay calm and open your curtains to let the sun in. Okay. Your curtains, huh? So that's where all the guys with the curtains are at, hiding in there. Pull the curtains out of your eyes. Alrighty. So far, the build is not too bad. Alright. Yes, besides anyways, the reviews will be like this eventually. For those who are curious, the reviews will just be, I sit and build and review the set as I go. And it's more like an evaluation of the build progress. How's my build experience? Most people are going to build. They're not going to just gawk at the set and look at it. Because this right here is essentially we're playing as we're building. I mean, do you consider it as playing or do you consider it as building? I don't know. And then we have a holder that goes like this. Right there. And then we have a snake that just kind of sticks out. Oh, I see where the snakes go. Well, that's fine if you got very small hands, but I don't know if I can even get that in there. I'm barely getting them in there. There we go. Just be careful. I think they're soft plastic. You got to put 2 of these in there. Actually, they're hard. This one here is not too bad because I can reach in there, and that's what it's supposed to look like right there. All right. Yeah. Well, at least we're getting something. And does those go all the way in, or they hang over? They go right there. All right. And of course, you can't put them all the way in. Silly of me, because there's no way to do that. Had a dream last night. I was in the woods and just relaxing. Well, that was a dream. Okay, we just go over the top of this right here. Alright. Sometimes it seems like I make it more complicated than it is. That's how it goes. I hope we get a bunch of these here. Alright. And 2 1x1 plates. We're still on bag 1, by the way. So bag 1, if I had to, maybe it's this Philosopher Stone section, I don't know. That's what they're calling it, so that's what we'll have to do. And there we go. Now these it comes with a brick separator. Of course, also I sleep at night with the little scenic webcams that people put out, and I always like those. Those are always kind of a treat to listen to at night. You gotta put a beard on here. Those webcams help me sleep. Well, isn't that just creepy? Or the head just poking out at you, staring at you while you're at the beach. You don't have to worry about the creepers. You gotta worry about the creepy rock faces. I think that's the Philosopher's Stone. Does it fit in all the way or no? There's a little hole right there, so be careful. You'll fall in and perish down there, making sure. We got the snake here. And that was kind of a tough thing to set in there. Okay, and then after the snake, this one's got a lot of stuff to put in too. We just did the Philosopher stone. And we got that there. We got the snake in. Okay, I think we got everything there. I think. Not really sure. And it shows that there's something here, but it's kind of halfway in. So I'm assuming here you just slide this tile in here. Yeah, you slide this one in too. Just stick it in there and slide it in. So I think we're just trying to wrap around him as much as we can. And it looks almost like what I did there. I mean, it's legal, right? We can legally do that. You know, I mean, hey, you know. I just hope this is good. So far I'm relaxed doing this. So this is not a bad build at all. I'm hoping it stays like this. The book's the right pace. We're not overwhelmed. It's not a big model. I don't have to muscle it. It's just you build, you know. When you get sets that are 5,000 pieces, they're impossible to move. They're just meant to be permanent display pieces. So that bank set, that will most likely just get tossed like in the parts bin. So we're just going to call this the Terrain with Philosopher Stone, most likely for the indexing of the video. This goes right up against here. I'm glad they got it all color coded because my goodness, I would really get lost in here. You know, I'm so far surviving. Is this meant to? Yes, it does. It hangs over right here. So I bet we're going to add more to this. Just checking all my landmarks and making sure. And, okay. Just checking my work here. It shows you what it looks like when it's done. And yeah. We have one of these remaining though. Am I forgetting something? Probably so. Because I usually don't give these extra here. In a final act of defiance, Salazar Slytherin constructed the Chamber of Secrets, a huge basilic, I can't pronounce that, was bewitched to honor his or her, to bring, making sure I'm reading that right here, to bring ruthless destruction upon all Muggle-born. What? I don't know. So we have one of these remaining. I'm going to backtrack here and see where it goes. It's okay to make mistakes. And yeah. It probably went where the head was at. Oh, there's a slope that went in this one area here. Right down in there. That spot that I got stuck at. Alright, well how do we put that in there without tearing it all apart? That's how we're going to put it in there with the bricks separate. Let's just take that out then and shove that in there. It makes it easier. There we go. Well, we got off easy that time. And that, my friends, is what we have remaining for bag 1. Okay, now we're going to be starting on bag 2. And so it's not modular, of course, so we're going to just build onto it. And I like the little excerpts we can read in here because you know a little bit about the history of the build and what the builder's thoughts are, and just kind of makes it almost more like a little storybook, even though if I don't like reading, you know, but at least it's something. And let's just get going here. And for those who don't know, yes, I'm a slow reader. That's just how it is. I mostly read numbers anyways. And we need 7 of these little rods. So I bet they all get populated because there's 7 holes. That's just something that's going to easily get whacked off when we're done. I wish they gave me a 1-to-1, but... Or maybe something's going to go on top of this. Maybe this is like a little pier or something. So building these little type of modules, or little micro builds, these are not really meant to be played with, although you could if you wanted to, if you're inclined to do so. But these are just meant to be, when you're done, you display it proudly on a shelf for a table. The only thing I think would be worth displaying in my sense is custom mocks. But then again, I like to build other things with my bricks, so that would be kind of impractical for me. So what do? I write up building guides and then rip it down and make something else and put it on display for a month. And I rip it down and take a back it up and then rip it down and make another one. That's how I do it. All right. The step 1 was kind of, step 1 or step 35 was kind of a brute. Yeah, I woke up this morning and heard something chomping down. It was some deer on the scenic webcam thing, and I thought, oh, so I guess it's breakfast time. This webcam was in Montana, though. They got to have sound. If they're just quiet, then why bother? Ooh, it's one of these. It's like opaque blue, but it's got that sparkly blue reflective stuff. Pretty cool. Great for water, like frothy water or something. I had a question asked, Jay, is computer science hard to learn? Just like with everything else, it's not really hard. You start at the very basics. You start at the very beginning of programming. You're going to have to do a lot of reading, but you could manage. It's a lot of reading, though. I'm just warning you. Lots of theories of operation on functions. You got to have at least a decent background in algebra. I hope that answers your question. So if you're pretty good and fluent in algebra, you shouldn't have a problem with it. It should be fairly easy. And if you're self-teaching yourself, there are plenty of resources you could use at your disposal. And if you're getting into it, one of the things that I do recommend is getting a copy of Linux. Doesn't matter if you're using Ubuntu, Debian, whatever. You get a copy of Linux. You can run it live without installing it on your computer. And that's pretty much what it is. You would just run it through. You'd have to use, you could either use a basic text editor, which is what most people use, or you can use an environmental thing like, I'm trying to think, in Windows we use Eclipse, and that's always a chore to set up. But Linux is pretty easy. Depends on what language you're learning. If you're learning Java, you got to install your Java libraries. If you're learning C or C++, you're going to have to install your libraries for that. if you're even doing stuff in Python and Perl, which is usually a little easier. But what I was taught in school, 1, 2, 3, is you start with the hardest programming language, which is usually C++. Why? Because what I was told, if you learn the hard stuff, then it gets easier as you go. I don't know how true that is, but I've been using C++. I don't, sometimes you have the libraries at hand, but for me, I'd rather just write my own up and customize them. But then, again, it's easier just to use the built-in libraries. Sometimes libraries don't do what you want them to do, so you have to write them up yourself. It's all about your preference. Do you want to use the built-in stuff, or do you want to write your own? Now, if you're learning how to write up Java, Java runs on just about any type of operating system, almost. And we need one more of these. Time to pull them out. And if you're writing up stuff in Java, there are so many libraries, it's not even funny. You can just start right on in, and just kind of learn. 2 flavors of programming: procedural and objects. You can run objects of classes. It's a little more advanced, but it's a little easier to write things up in the long run there. There we go. Phone's ringing. I am not going to get it. So you get into that kind of stuff, that's what you're looking forward to. It's a learning curve. If you, let's say you're getting into it for the first time, things are going to feel overwhelming. Just when you start writing up programs, it's very basic. Just write up stuff. It displays a character on the screen it's like Hello World. Write something very basic. That's what it looks like there. All right. And we got something else here. Let's see here. The winged key room was Professor Flickwick's clever construction as one of the obstacles of Hogwarts. Staff designed to protect the secret hiding place of the Philosopher's Stone. I guess they're referring to as this. But yeah. Well, enough about computer programming unless you want more. And now we are building on something like that. It's like, what? Yeah, so far you're putting a lot of pieces on at one time in here, so you've been forewarned. But at least the innards of this are very bright and colorful. You're not just sticking with gray pieces. You could tell this was by a different designer. And I may be inclined to do that on my builds eventually. Boy, I'm going to have to clear my throat again. Let's do that. Hold up. Yep. Hey, at least I do it. At least I bleep that out, huh? I was watching a video yesterday, and I thought it's not too bad. Next thing you know, I was playing it in the background. I'm like, God, what the heck is that? At first, I thought it was my emergency radio going off because we've been having the nasty weather. And this guy was beeping all the bad words out of his video. And I thought, really, on YouTube? So I thumbs it down and moved on to something else. I thought, oh. I was like, dude, really? I cuss in mine, you know. This guy was somewhat of a rough-looking character, but I thought, I don't beat my bad words out. I either try to, I say the S word, is probably about as far as I go. I mean, if you own a modern television, you probably hear it a lot, but I'm not going to go that far on mine. That's just kind of silly to beep blips and all that stuff. And there's a By one that goes in that little hole there. We probably would have forgot that, huh? And then now we got to build a platform here. So these just sit in here. You got to be careful. So when we grab this, we got to be careful not to poke at this in here too much. Yeah. I like the smaller builds a lot better, not the micro builds too much. Oh, this looks like this must be the chess room. Okay, hold on. We're not supposed to put a tile there. Yeah, even parts of, parts of the other review, man, it was just that bad. Even forgot to hit the recorder on the phone to get better audio. So I thought, well, it'll just have to do. I'm only going to shoot it in one take. So if a kiddie's expected a full scripted video, she or he's going to be not too thrilled. So far, I haven't ran across any repetitious steps in here yet, so we're fine. Repetitious, I mean we just constantly repeat. This right here is just one, unless we're building 10 of these, and it would get pretty boring. Now, I always get questions asked, how do you line up all those? The ends are pretty easy, just push them on a table. That's not too bad, but how do you do the middle ones? Take your brick separator and just stick the wedge in there and just kind of rotate them a bit. And then get them as best you can. That's good enough for me. And we stick studs in these things in here. Now, I'm not a chess player. I don't know what half this stuff does. So don't ask me. I don't know. I don't play chess. I'm going to say it's real easy. I just never got into it. Checkers I know how to play, but chess not so much. Looking for a stud here. All right. And then the chessboard goes here. It just sits in there too. And I don't think there's stickers in this set. I haven't ran across any. So when I was doing the unboxing, maybe this may be a winner and we don't have to put on anything here. Usually it's more the custom stuff that doesn't have it. And we have something that we'll be reading here in shortly. This one's got a lot of reading material here. All right. And yes, for those who don't know, I don't like reading. I did enough of it back in college and grad school, and I don't like it. I was told you had to read this and have to have it done with a report or a term paper done at a certain time. That was enough for me. Some people love reading. I just can't get into it. Okay, I think we're talking about this here. Yeah, it looks like the picture. Okay. The chessboard chamber was another obstacle protecting the Philosopher's Stone, one that had to require strategic skills, bravery, and sacrifice. Ron fully deserved the 50 points he got for orchestrating his epic game. All right. Ron Weasley. Okay. Lego, please do more of these with the little text bubbles and stuff inside. You know, it makes the build not so bland. Although this is not too bad right now. see how Lego does this here with the outsets? I've been doing that a lot in mine. My older stuff never did. Newer stuff does. Put that over there. Yeah, there's a lot of bright colors just for what we're doing here. So I think what this is to break the monopolists of just using just straight gray. You know, it would be very boring. And to make a build, I mean, because a lot of us get into Lego. I stare at a screen every day. I look at white text on a black background and in an editor. And for me personally, I don't want to do that. It'd be easy to put that in before I can get this in here. And I'd rather look at colorful builds than just something that's black and white, because I do that enough. And this goes here, so it's keyed. Now that tile is going to pop up. So let's stick this brick in here. We'll just push that down in there. I never do that in mine. I would have started a different way. All in a nutshell, though, the review on the castle, if you haven't seen it or not, it was a strange build in terms of what were the designers thinking on it. Well, we got these now in gray. Oh yes, when I was filming the review, halfway through it, and the memory card fills up because I was doing the 4K stuff. And I thought, you're kidding me. I was not having a good time. Okay, so this does, there's something that goes in there. I was like, you're flipping kidding me. Here I'm almost done. Oh, and I forgot to put a piece in there. Well, at least I can rip it out. I got to take this other part out too. I forgot to put a tile on it. I was like, oh man, that review was so sloppy. I could redo it. Well, how do you get that out of there? If you want to remove it, we're going to have to take all that out, I guess. You make a mistake. Oh wow, it's just ripping everything out. But that review there, if somebody watches and complains, then so be it. There we go. Okay, we fixed that now. I didn't see it because the book cuts it off when it's right at the edge. I hate when Lego puts the parts right up against the edge like that. That's the thing I like about the digital building guides in a way. You don't have that little center crease in the book where the pages join together. But only time will tell though, but like I have mentioned before, I'm not set up for doing really big Lego set reviews. The little stuff, yes. The big stuff, not so much. So but unfortunately, I received the set. I have to review it to the best of my ability. This one here is going to be easy because I just need the little light and just show what we're doing. Yeah, I can't wait to edit that one to find out. The quality on the build installments was better. You know? And these are half-baked videos here, so what does that tell you? I had to move this table out of the way here just so I can review it. It was not easy to film that set at all. It was tall, very unstable, and it felt like it was going to fall over a few times. In fact, I still have it separated because I just didn't trust it. And there we go. And well, I can't hold this in the book at the same time. To understand the purpose of the Mirror of Erised, you must read the inscription backwards. Erised. Why did we? Okay. Erised straw exu oit u kafu oit on woozy, and maybe add or delete a few spaces in the process. It's not just me that couldn't read that. Well, I don't have time to decipher. I've already done enough of that in my day job. Okay. Let's start over here first. The chess room. You know, I'm not trying to go into the whole thing here, but I have to say it. There's some schools, they were even trying to do it out here, that were banning Harry Potter books. You know what? This was a long time ago. But if kids are reading for pleasure, hey, I tip my hat off to them, regardless of what the content is. I'd rather have my kid reading Harry Potter by a long shot than the crap that's on the internet today. What am I saying? I don't like reading, but I know some who do, and they enjoy the books. And this goes here. And that's what we have remaining here. Looks like we have one of each. It's all small stuff. Yeah, you're going to have a lot of pieces with this set here for bag 2. Alright, we're going to move on to bag 3. And originally I was going to break it down into 3 bags, but I think we're going to do 4 on this one here. First you got to, let me go get that real quick. But you're going to be spending like a good couple of minutes here unbagging bags. Why does Lego do this? This is a waste of plastic. Just pour it all in one bag. Besides, where's those paper bags at, huh? Was those not good enough for us? You're cutting back the manuals, but you won't give us paper bags. There we go. Okay. Looks like we're not done with this. Let's say we're done. No, we're not done. We gotta put more stuff on here now. Yeah, if you are not a fan of little pieces, stay away from this one. I kid you not. Looks like it goes here. Well, we obviously know how deep it is, huh? And it fits right in frame, too. So that's good, at least. It fits in the frame. But we're only going to be focusing here, I think. Don't know yet. Yeah. Well, at least we get some of these here. Get some of the tiles and all that stuff. And setting these on black does not look very well unless you want to make it look like it's deep water. And I have plenty of black plates in my collection. So seeing these in here is kind of more like an eyesore than anything else. I wonder if there's something that's going to go in the middle here. How does it look on the bottom? Maybe not. Maybe that's the secret area to hide things. To hide those things that we can't mention about on YouTube. There's some 1x4s in here. Oh, there they are. I would have used that frothy color in here on these instead of just the regular 1x2s. Although I've been talking about buying a lot of these for a pool project. Well, I don't have to now. There's a bunch in this set for me. I don't know how many it comes with. I don't know if this even has a parts list in the back. Maybe it's book 2. Oh, wow, olive green slopes. Those would make a great roof color if I can get enough of those in that color. I need another slope, and I got this one here. Start pulling out plates. Have I ever had them give me the wrong piece? Yes, in one set. I've had them shortchange me pieces, very far and few, but I've had one set, I think it was 4956 or 9456. It was a house with a red roof, and instead of giving me 2 inside corner roof slopes, they gave me a 2 regular 2x2 bricks. And at first, when I contacted customer service about it, they wanted me to send those back. This was years ago. And I was like, ma'am, I'm far away from a post office. I don't want to make this bill drag out longer. And she goes, okay, well, I'll just send them to you anyways. And I think they changed that soon after. I'm like, I didn't pack the box up like that. Why am I being punished? She was real polite about it too, but they wanted me to send it back. Now, if you have defective bricks, they always ask for you to send them back so they can find out what's going on. But if it's at my expense, which they were kind of hinting it was, or I had to pay for it first and they would reimburse me, and that brings back eBay nightmares there. And it's like, well, you know. So now when there's something like that, which I've never ran across again, I just tell them it's missing. I didn't have any of those parts at the time of my collection. Okay. Oh, and the reason why I do pause the video when I'm clearing my throat or sneezing or whatever, you never know who's eating or something while they're watching these. You know, I bet this fits over here somewhere. Probably goes like that. And that's just due to respect, you know. I mean, some people don't. Now I'm in a household where they talk about gross stuff during dinner time. I'm like, you knock it off. Oh, this stuff bothers you? I'm like, I'm trying to eat. You know, I mean, I'm like, seriously. You're doing it in my house too. So now I just sometimes, if I have to, I'll bring my stuff back into here. It feels like I'm a prisoner in my own house sometimes. Like, don't talk about gross stuff while we're eating. So you won't ever hear me do that on here. We're ready to put this in here. Now, I noticed this with Lego, and I guess I could do this with mine too. It saved me a bunch of headaches. This is a sub-step, and they got the sub-step name consecutive with the regular step. So, older manuals, they don't do that. I may thought doing that in mine. But usually stuff like that, I write up in separate building guides. It makes it so much easier. You know? Sometimes I just, somebody asks me, why don't I sell the stud files for like a stud manual? You don't get it. It's a little more complicated than that. There's the stud files. There could be, like the Michael Myers house. They had about 15, 20 little building guides with it. When you purchase the guide, it'll be one big. Well, this one will be 2 manuals, but they'll be complete. Besides, my notes they're only indexed where only I can understand them. So those files will do no use for a random person. And yes, my workflow is not the best. Okay, blue, wow. That's a color we don't really see very often in the modern sets. Oh, boy, lots of rocks. Just take your time through. This is going to be kind of a mess here. So we're going to go through it very slow. Matter of fact, I can find a lot of nature cams, like forest cams, which don't bother me. I rarely can find a beach cam that have sound. They're all muted. It's like, oh, here's the ocean. You can just look at it. I'm like, I want to listen to the waves crashing. Not just hear it or look at it or whatever. Okay, that goes right there. There's a brick that goes even with this corner here. And, well, there's just lots of colors in here. This is what I do with my campgrounds. I just bury all the undesirable colors. Lately, we need to sneak some pinks and purples in here next. Just sneak them in here. What am I saying? The designers know more than I do, I guess. Goes here. It shows 2 spaces here. Uh-oh. Oh, we made a mistake here. Well, at least I caught it now. This is supposed to go like that. See, you're going to catch mistakes throughout the build, no matter how careful you are. Yeah, now it looks like the picture. It's like I said, I'm being told to grab this piece and put it here like this. That's what it feels like when I do a building, when I'm doing when I'm following other people's builds. Where for me, I'm like, well, I may want to make this area here maybe a dark gray. Look like water crashed up on the rocks. So that's what I would do. You know. Now, if I'm doing a consignment job, that's different. The client's going to tell me, here's a picture, do your best. Well, they don't want the best. You give them exactly what they want. Yet, I have not heard back from that Lego consignment job yet. If I haven't heard back from them by now, then the position probably already has been filled, which doesn't bother me. It'd be nice. Try to get my foot in the door. But a lot of these guys, they use Flickr and Instagram. I need to build me a good portfolio. I need to start doing it on Instagram. If you want to follow me on there, fine. It's the same name as my main channel, Jaystifer. Just look it up. You'll find me. You'll see a picture of my big ugly mug on the profile picture, and there you go. And then with a blue background, of course. I may change that. And then that's my profile. If you want to follow it, I'm just going to make that just my portfolio. What? No 2x3 inverted 45-degree slope? Looking for... Oh, we put that big one in there to match that side. Okay. And we got to put a 1x3 here. have to use red out of all colors. Why? I don't know. And yeah, you don't see that blood red and that nasty green back there, huh? It's all going to be covered up. At least the designers are breaking this up here where you don't see the colors as bad. Okay. And we got a stud here. Hold down on this side. You don't want this to cave in on you. And that there. Alrighty. And did I forget a part? No, I didn't. I'm sure. Okay. Smooth tiles, huh? Something's going to remove off the top there. Or are we just shoving those in to fill it in? Sometimes they'll offset something on there too, so they use the tiles to kind of give the right clearance. And there's a piece that goes perpendicular to all that there. There we go. No, we just cover up those tiles. Okay. Now, let me make sure here. See, it's all played together. This reminds me of the campground build, huh? Remember we were putting all those plates? We were sticking all those junk parts underneath just to smooth up the terrain a bit. It's what it feels like here with this hole in the middle still. So what I'm gathering is this is just meant as, ooh, that comes in olive green. This is just meant as a display piece, just to admire, nothing more. So it's just meant to sit on your coffee table or your shelf. And it's a shelf queen. Is there something that's supposed to go there? Yep. We'll just back butter that right in there. There we go. It's like, is something supposed to go in there? Yes. Don't forget that stud. Alright, we need to find an inverted slope and make sure we put the tile on that one there. And this goes here. I guess this is supposed to be like moss or seaweed. Well, not seaweed. It'd have to be moss or some kind of plant growth on the rock. And that's it for that. Not that one, Jay. It's this one. There we go. And this just sits right in here. There we go. And here. Okay, we got that rock facade. We covered up all that nasty color there. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, I'm on the lookout now for a good ring light. And I found some that have all the accessories that I need for this camera here. I did find another camera that I want to buy. It's pricey, but it's a consumer grade. It's a little bigger, just a tad bigger than this one. But I want to make sure I can get up and close and personal with things. So I need a good tutorial camera, not a big thing that I can't even look around when I'm doing the filming. For the tutorial stuff, just do something in 4K. I don't think my tutorials will be in 4K. Can I see behind that or no? I don't know if that piece goes there. Does it get pushed? Well, maybe not. It's even with this one right here. And then, why don't you just have me stick this in before all that? Would have been easier. Little mossy stone down in there. And okay, it goes like this here. And there's a missing, oh, this goes here. We're almost done with this bag. So the bags are broken down where it's not that bad. You're not spending 30 minutes per bag. It seems like it's more about 20 minutes. I don't know. So if you're looking for something that's... This is obviously not a quick build by any means whatsoever. Not so ever at all. If you're looking for something you can get done really fast, this is not the set for you. You know, it goes there, and this goes here. We got this orange, and that is it. And this is what we have remaining for bag 3. And we have one thing to read here real quick before we break to bag 4. We're going to go and do 4 real quick. If, you know, let me just do it like this. It's easier for me to do that there. If Muggles should actually come across the Hogwarts grounds, the castle will look like an abandoned ruin, and warning signs have discouraged them from exploring the site further. Well, that's usually what attracts the explorers, is the abandoned signs. Alright, and we're going to wrap up this installment with bag 4, and that doesn't look like it belongs with this. Look at all those colors in there, and then you look at the build, it looks kind of bland. Well, right now this castle looks abandoned, doesn't it? Not much to explore. Come back when the build's done. Alright. There we go. Lots of little cards. At least there's some bricks in here, but they're smaller bricks. Alright, we got a little Lego math here. We gotta have that too. So, do we need this now? Yes, you do. The things now are getting pretty big here. So obviously we're working right here too now. At least with the background, it breaks the white on the table a bit. And there is a printed tile in here, Hogwarts Castle. So this is printed. I'm gathering that's probably the center of the build. So we're getting close to the end here. Maybe. I don't know. At least it's not a bunch of white parts that I can't see on the countertop, huh? At least we're doing something with color. I mean, the designer, whoever designed this set here, well, we already saw who he was, broke this down where there's colors inside here, because this would have been a very boring build. So I think his name is, I don't even know, I forgot, Chug. Good job on this one, dude, because it's not boring. Whoops, except I put the wrong part in. But at least it's not dry and boring, and it puts me to sleep. Because really, honestly, when you're building stuff, you don't need to have it all solid gray. Whatever you can't see is not going to hurt you, so. It's like when I have those pink bricks and stuff, I'm like, guys, who cares? Just shove it in there, no one's going to see it. Does that hang over by 2 studs? Yes, it does. Plates upon plates is very hard. Oh, looks like we're putting in a sandy beach, huh? Can't wait to get to the actual castle part, but I have a feeling that's going to be pretty brutal. Plus, I like doing the terrain stuff, so it's more of a treat doing the terrain here. And then we are going to be adding a lot of water in here. So we'll start right here. And I don't think it really matters how this goes in here. Yeah, I was going through the edits on the build progress on the bigger set that I did. And I'm going to be honest with you guys and gals, I prefer doing this style review. To review as we go. What's my build experience like? What's keeping my interest with this set? It's bright and colorful. We're doing terrain. The colors are broken up. It's not dry. That kind of thing. And I may start leaning my reviews towards... I'm getting the iPad. I'm thinking about leaning towards doing reviews like this. Most people do the really quick reviews. Well, this is an in-depth review here. But this is the format, what you will be seeing in future videos. And then my main channel we left just for the customs. And that's how I'm going to focus it on. Is this style here. Because this style of build here is more relaxing. It's more raw and cut. And then I'll do my final summation of thoughts at the very end of the video like I normally do. For those who want to just skip through all the build stuff, These are just in-depth reviews. And I prefer to do these. Why? Because I'm building. I'm not sitting here just pointing and showcasing something. I'm just building. So what do we do here? Is this all going to be filled in later on? Maybe we're saving that. I think there was one... Oh, wait a minute. There was one bag that had all dark blue, so I think that's what we're doing in here. Well, Jay, we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves here. We're going to do that. Let's shove this right in here. And it's one stud in right here, and there's 5 on this side, and that's what it is. I want to doubly make sure I don't want to have to rip that out. So yes, the way this set is just designed though, and the colors are broken up so far, I'm not displeased with the build experience on this set at all. It's keeping my interest. For somebody like myself who's on the spectrum and stuff like that, it's keeping my interest. It's not boring or dry or anything like that. I'm sure that's probably going to change, but we don't know yet. Well, I found the right piece. I just can't pick it up. Butterfingers. Yeah. I get more comments though on this channel here on the build experience videos than I do. Well, that doesn't go there. Well, let me get a brick separator. That's almost impossible to remove. Okay, let's start with the 4x4 plate first here. And yeah, you'll be doing this a lot too. Make sure your hands will have a good workout. But I'm going to lean towards more of this style eventually. And then the main channel will just be left for unboxings and stuff. The unboxing will still be there for sets that are under 1,000 pieces. But if those seem like those are still too long, I'm going to bring them down to 900, and we're going to slowly do so until I get the right equation right. But my main goal is to make this channel here not only the archives channel. Well, we're archiving, right? I'm archiving the build, so never mind. So we're archiving my thoughts. So Archives of J is essentially what this is, but so is my main channel. It's an archive. Well, we covered all that up. I thought we were going to use that color for something special. I thought it was a sandy beach, not a stony beach. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are going to prefer this style versus, okay, let's speed build through it and not show what's going on in the build. That does you, the viewer, no good if speed builds are entertainment. Here, it's in depth. Some people want to hear my thoughts, my ideas, my inspiration on things. You know, I'm inspired to do this. You know, I mean, some people don't care. You know, some people are just like, I've had people tell me to shut up and get on with the build. And it just so happens my hand slips and I block them at that time too. But for the most part, though, I enjoy this format of reviews. Is an in-depth build of a set. What does it involve? Like, I can tell you right now, this has got a lot of plates, lots of little pieces. Take your time. A speed build ain't going to tell you that. You'll have to, and if the author chooses to do so, they'll have to write that in the description. Okay, we're putting this over here just randomly, unless we're going to fill that in with something. Okay, now we're rotating here. Maybe we're going to fill this area in here, huh? No, we're working back over here, but we're working on this side way over here. They're going to make me reach. We're going to have to do our arm exercises. But yeah, I just don't want to... yeah, that's supposed to hang in there. A white 1x16 brick. It's very rare to see that in here, huh? That goes right in there. This must be like a cross support then to kind of keep this together. That's probably why we had to rotate it. Yeah, more bright blue in there. Look at that. Alrighty. Yeah, we're working back here. Does that go there? It sure does. Probably rotate it this way so we can see it at a different angle. Because we're working back this way, I guess. Because everything would have been buried otherwise. And don't want to forget that. I mean, you look in the middle, it looks kind of colorful, huh? These are like very basic, bright primary colors. And we need 4 studs here. I think the stud goes there. There we go. Here. That's 3. Oh, there's one right down here. Right there. And there you go. Oh, there's another white piece here. I have a hard time seeing the white on the counter. It goes like this. And we rotate it back. There's 2 arches that you're going to have to grab hold of here. This goes right here. I mean, that's just barely tacked in. you got to put this brown one in there too. And it shows you in the book. Just do that and drop it in. And this sits on the stud here. And these do line up kind of in a way. They're barely touching, and that's what it says in the book. Okay, so maybe you can go inside of here or something. We don't know, or those are just used for supports. Okay. That's starting to get pretty big here in terms of, let's just set them like that. Now, there we go. It's closer to me. And this, all right, let's take a look at this plate here first. We'll start with that one first because that makes more sense to me. And it goes next to here. So it's not going in that hole, it sits right there. Tell me, and I may need to do this as a poll on my main channel. Do you guys like quick reviews or in-depth build reviews? You know, and have them see if they'll comment me or just put a thing in there. Do you want a quick review that just says my build experience, or you want to watch me build the set? And literally spend hours. And of course, people will skim through these too if you want. Yeah, they can do that all they want if they choose. And this goes on there. Not there, obviously. We have to go here. Oh, it sits on this. Okay. Well. Okay, I would finger that in there. That might cave in. And that takes care of that one. Like right now, we got a pile of rocks we got to put here. I'm going to start with this one first. I mean, this brick is buried in here, and you got to work your way around. So I would just do that. Start in that area. Just sometimes you hear me pause for a second because I got to stop what I'm doing and think, okay, where do I start with this with the steps? Sometimes that piece is buried. Try to put that in after you get all that in there. You could, but it would be kind of a pain. And then there's a slope here. And some steps are like this, where there's just a handful of parts you put in and you're done. Like this right here is getting to be tough for adult hands. Put these in here. I bet that's used just as a filler. Oh, I had a question asked. What would you do if you had unlimited bricks? I'd build me the most epic city you can imagine. The reason why I don't do it now, because I can't commit to a build. I got to rip it apart, and two, it's cost. This Lego stuff is expensive to do cities. And I would actually have to obtain a good amount of space to do something like that. And there you go. Now, I want to let this be known. You can see how the artist here has the rocks kind of fluted down here. I've seen some guys will make a mountainscape, and the mountain just stops like this right at the ground level. Okay, if you're in a forest, it depends. You should always have some kind of jagged rocks at the bottom. Nothing just straight drops off into the abyss. You could do that. I mean, that's up to the builder, but to me it just looks kind of artificial, where this right here kind of just tapers down here. Unless we're going to cover that up, but we need 3 of these. And right here. And I'm sure, like I said, there's probably somebody that can do these sets in like 5 minutes, but we're no interest in doing it like that right now. Alrighty. And oops, that goes right here. It looks like we got ourselves some earth here. Yeah, putting that in there is going to be a challenge for an adult hand finger to put in there. Okay. And one of these with the plate on the bottom. I'll find it eventually. It's not like it's white. It may as well be with all the gray here. Oh, here it is. It's this. It goes right here. And if you're not careful, you will put these in the wrong place. You've already seen me do that already enough, right? All right, and we just got to make one of these with the yellow stud. And that wraps around this brick here, like that. We need 2 of these. And that goes there. And this goes here. We got 1 olive green stud here. Olive green goes in the middle of that. Are we burying that up now? No bright color in that? Are we actually going to see that part? We might. I'll get this asked from time to time. Jay, how did you know where all the layout is in the McDonald's? I used to work at a place like that. I had the floor plans for it too that I got from City Hall. That's how you build those big elaborate builds, is you just grab a hold of the building plans and you just go to town on it. That's how you do it. Alrighty, we're just about done for the day. Okay, we got that in there. We put this, okay, we got a tile. Okay, this goes here. Just some random tile there. Yeah, just one piece of piece. So the next session we're going to do 3 bags. I'm not going to do that until later on this evening though. So I got to wrap up some daily chores. I think that goes there. Yes, it does. And this one goes here. We got to cover up all that orange anyways, huh? There's some orange right back there. We haven't gotten that far yet. I'm just going to go very slow through here. This is going to be something that's going to be kind of a challenge if you're not careful. Wait, there's an outside corner in here? Where? Oh, this. I need more of those. A lot of those. There it is. When I use them for terrain, though, I can also use them for making houses, like roofs and stuff. I think there was 1 apiece on those, too. Yes, there was. And now, let's start with the stud. Right down in there. Okay. See how the rocks and you got some vegetation. Some guys will forget that and just look so artificial. Terrain, I had to practice on a lot of terrain builds to get the hang of things. I'm not an expert on terrain building, but I'll tell you, you have to be in nature in order to appreciate how she did everything in terms of terrain. And I think we're done with that. We got a piece. We got 3 of these slopes here to put up here now. Cover all that up. Okay, there's the third one. I was like, where did it go again? There it goes. All right. And there, huh? Many of the castle secrets are still mysteries to the wizarding world. Even Albus Dumbledore never knew anything about its construction or design. Well, we obviously know that this was rock formations, so we can understand that at least. Unless he doesn't know what a rock is. Alright, so we got to stack a couple of these here. And then this goes, I believe... You notice I'm not pressing down on it. Yes, it goes here and it's flush with this. Is there something under there? No, it just hangs. So far it's pretty level here, except for that. That tells me the castle is going to sit right in that area. Okay. That's it for that step. We don't have a lot of parts left, don't we? This is a nice little platform. We could use this to actually put a lighthouse on it or something if you're inclined to do so. Well, that's fine, but it shows that there's a brick back here. But the brick is here. Did I do something wrong? Did I make a boo-boo? I did. That's why. That is supposed to go there. And that goes there. I think. Yes, it does. And I believe that's it, because we have one of each, and that's what we have remaining there on the table there. And that's where she stops. That's where I'm stopping. All right, Summation of Thoughts, and that's what we have remaining for bag 4. And so far, the build is keeping my interest. It's, you know, despite of what this looks like, it is bright and colorful. So we have some of the interiors here. And in addition to that, we have this nice front. So this is obviously the front of this. I think there's a little bit more that goes here. And then we're going to fill in this corner back here. And I like the fact that it comes with the brick separator. We had to use that a few times. Let me find myself a bookmark, because this set did not come with its own. It came with nothing. I need to find something real quick. But just for Summation of Thoughts, though, if you're interested in getting this set, it's not a bad one. I'm just going to stick a brick separator in there. And yeah, so far I think this is a winner here. I've not pulled my hair out. There's 22 bags, and I've survived through 4 of them. That means we got 18 more left to go through. And yeah, so far I'm pleased with this build. It's not boring. It's not dry. It's not like the other one where it just felt overwhelming. This one here, you're still going to need to take your time, but nonetheless, it's a nice build. But tell me what you think so far. Is this something up your alley? Are you into micro builds? For me, I'm not into micro builds, but this is keeping my interest. But we'll see how far that goes.